little bit more off the cuff tonight in regards to the video, but this is a video that is addressing a question I get roughly 2 to 3 times a week in regards to speed boosters on the Panasonic GH4 or GH5. So tonight's video, long form, open conversation about a mid-level priced speed booster, a ridiculously cheap speed booster, and the gold standard, the MetaBones. So if you're interested in speed boosters for the Panasonic GH series or just speed boosters in general, what they're going to do, price range, stick around as I give you my thoughts, comments, questions, and concerns coming up next. Let's say you're like myself and you had some Canon Glass, but you also had some Micro Four Thirds glass, but you know your Canon Glass is nicer than some of the stuff you have that is native for Micro Four Thirds cameras. So, like myself, 24 to 105, fantastic lens. The Nifty 50 f1.8, and then the Old Faithful 70 to 200 f4. Now this is kind of, I would say, some traditional standard lenses that a lot of people are probably going to own. Now, you have these pieces of glass, you got your new GH4, your GH5, or maybe you even have just some Olympus or something, some Micro Four Thirds camera. Now, you're wanting to put some Canon Glass on it, and your first thought is, sure, I should just be able to... oh crap. Now, many of us kind of ahead of this, or maybe you just are new to this, but yes, these EF mount full frame pieces of glass are not going to go on your Micro Four Thirds camera. So this is where a speed booster similar to the MetaBones speed booster is going to come in handy. What is it going to do in a nutshell? Speed booster, EF mount, boom. We're going to do red dot and red dot. Boom, we're locked in there. And then this, we're going to go white dot to red dot on camera. Try to give you guys an angle there. We're ready to go. Okay, so simple and easy. Now that is with the most expensive option, with this the MetaBones speed booster, but this is my favorite and my go-to choice. But I do understand if you don't have the budget of roughly $600, $700, which is absurd, I know, but I do this for a living, so it made a little bit more sense. This is definitely the best setup. I have the least amount of issues. I have the least amount of like wiggle, or I guess what you would say flexibility. You also get full control of your aperture, and you're going to have the ability of autofocus. But if we all know, the autofocus on the Panasonic GH5 is really not that great, so I stay away from that. But I want you guys to know you will have the ability of lens stay, because you are going to get that through the MetaBones speed booster. Also, you're going to be able to drop it down. I want to say if this is an f4, I can drop it down to an f2.8. In a nutshell, you're going to get about a stop and a half, I guess. I don't want to say that's 100% precise, but yes, with this particular setup, you're going down to an f2.8. So that's with the MetaBones, $700. It will work with all of these pieces of glass. Like I said, it's my favorite. It's my most reliable. But then that moves me into a little bit of a cheaper option, which is going to be the Commlite. Now, Commlite functions exactly like the MetaBones, and to be honest with you, when I first got the Commlite, overall, it is an exact replica of the MetaBones, except for I actually took off the little lens, I guess, whatever this piece is for the lens that helps in regards to taking some weight off. But Commlite, boom, go on there, we're in business. So there you have it. Now the Commlite coming in more roughly in that like 225, 250. I absolutely love this. You're going to get the aperture control. You're going to get autofocus if you would like. And pretty much it functions identical to the MetaBones. And when I first got the Commlite, I have to be honest with you, I was very frustrated that I invested all this money into the MetaBones. And it was kind of hard to sit there and think that I had spent roughly $600 and $700 on the MetaBones, and then the Commlite side by side was literally performing just as well. But now that I've owned the Commlite now for probably almost 2 years, here's what I would say. For $250, if you find that that's what you can't afford, I think you should go with the Commlite. But I've had a couple scenarios, very weird, where like the Commlite will get lodged into my GH4 or GH5. So what I'm trying to say is like, I will put it on. It'll be locked in, and then let's go say I want to take it off. Then all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, it'll just spin all the way around. It'll do some crazy stuff. And it usually causes me to have to do or apply a little bit of force to get it off there. So that's just a small disclaimer. It's not to knock the quality of it in regards to image, the functionality. It's just a couple occasions I got a little forehead sweat in regards to I was worried that I wasn't going to be able to get this off of my camera. So it's just something that I've had and I want to throw it out there. But as far as price, I could almost get like 2 or 3 of these for the price of the MetaBones. So it's just something to take in consideration, but great option. Now, with the Nifty 50, I just want to give you guys a little understanding of this setup. It will be able to drop down to an f1.3. So you go from an f1.8 all the way down to an f1.3. To be honest with you, that particular setup, an f1.3, definitely good shallow depth of field, nice blurry background, so comes in handy. And as far as functionality goes, similar, like I said earlier, it's going to be the same with the 50 or the 24 or even the 70 to 200 with these 2 different speed booster options, except for, like I said, the MetaBones is going to be the most reliable. Now, let's jump into the El Cheapamungo. Now, this was the first option I ever bought, and I think that many of you guys out there, if you're wanting to just apply other glass before you go out and spend a lot of money on a speed booster, this option is probably going to be for you. Now, I don't know the exact price. I want to say like under $50, but this is just your no electronics are going to be, so no autofocus, no aperture control or nothing. It's going to be your aperture control is just going to be here. There you go. And it is going to function pretty much identical. We're going to line up our red or white with red. There you go. Turn it on there. Boom, we're in business. Unscrew. Oh, there we go. Unscrew there. Get this off here. MetaBones, sorry. Put the MetaBones there. We got our red dot. Our red dot. Bam. Okay. So now you're in business. 50 bucks. $50, and all of a sudden you now have access to glass that you were never even going to be using with your camera. So that's one huge upside of these particular MetaBones or Commlite or even this Full-Dex speed booster. Now, I want to say with this cheap speed booster, you're not going to be able to go any stops lower or anything like that, really, because you're not going to have aperture control, so you're always going to see 000 over here. Never going to be able to know exactly where it's at. As far as your aperture control is going to be, it's going to be all manual, which I do find with this, you're going to get a little bit more vignetting and things like that, but it's $50. You're going to be able to slap on your old glass or your new glass, and you're going to be able to use it for your Micro Four Thirds camera. So, what, in a nutshell, do we do in a situation like this? Well, like I said, if you're a professional, you own a company, this is your livelihood, I think you should probably go with not the $50 one, and maybe not even the Commlite. Commlite, definitely, if you just want to get into speed boosters and you know that maybe after a few projects you might upgrade and get the MetaBones, or, God, I keep actually touching the wrong one, the MetaBones. Like I said, Old Faithful, definitely more expensive. You could possibly even find one used, but professional side of things, I'm going with MetaBones. It's going to be my A camera. I'm going to be using it as my go-to. But as my B cam, I typically use Commlite paired up with one of my pieces of Canon Glass that I'm not going to be using or that I'm using to complement my main shot. And then obviously the $50 speed booster. Really, since I had these two, I don't ever really use it anymore, but in the beginning, it was one of those things that it was just, I got to unlock all my Canon Glass, see how it looked on the GH4, which it looked amazing, and then it really just made me kind of want to go deeper into the speed booster kind of market, and that's when I made my way to the Commlite and then the MetaBones. And now, pretty much on all my professional shoots, I will only shoot with my speed boosters and my Canon Glass outside of my Mecchi 12mm Cine Prime, mainly because I just love the look and the feel, and with these speed boosters, getting you a little bit more of a ability to stop down a stop or maybe even a stop and a half. It's really nice. Footage looks professional, and honestly, this is just one other thing. When you put the beefier setup on there, there's just something about it. People seem to think that your camera's more serious. Now, obviously, I don't have the camera rigged out right now. I don't have the cage. I don't have my my handle. I don't have any audio or anything. But it's just nice when you see this compared to a little bitty native glass setup. Native glass, gonna be fantastic, mainly for shooting a lot of vlog style stuff where honestly, it's not about looking showy, it's more about what's useful. Whereas a lot of times on the professional side of things, you're going to need to be able to look the part as well as be able to do the part. So I hope that answered some questions for you guys out there. Yes, you are going to need a speed booster 99% of the time if you are trying to use any glass that is not native for Micro Four Thirds cameras. So if you shoot with Olympus Micro Four Thirds, you shoot with friggin' Panasonic. I'm sure there's others out there. I know there's others out there. But if you shoot with those two and you're looking for glass, you're looking for lenses, you either need to buy something that is native to MFT, or you need to go ahead, get yourself a speed booster, make sure it's for whatever glass mount that you need, whether it be L mount, whether it be Sony E mount, whether it be Canon EF mount, maybe it be PL mount, you name it. You just need to make sure you get the proper speed booster for your glass. But hey guys, it's Trey Lowell with Lowell Productions, and as always, if you like the video, go ahead and hit that like button. If you like the content I keep creating on this channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next video.